Hey guys, this is Big E coming to you from Big E's Car Garage. Before we start this video, be sure and hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate all you subscribers and tuning in to see what Big E has coming to you every day. So guys, I was just sitting here in the parking lot in the big F-150. Of course, you guys know I'm a Ford guy. And I started thinking about the Dark Horse GT and my Mustang. A lot of guys have this debate, and I wanted to ask you guys, what are you using in your Mustangs? Now, of course, my 2003 Mustang GT, I have a 4R70W built transmission. Now, I know a lot of guys do different things. A lot of guys, I know the 6R80R is a popular transmission. Of course, there's going to be some other things that you need to go with it. I know some of the other guys are using a few other options. I'm just going to talk about those two right now because those are the most popular. Before I went to Darren Birch and got a quote on building a new 4R70W transmission for the Dark Horse GT with a manual valve body, I did do some research on the 6R80R. I got a quote on it and it was going to be quite a bit more expensive. There's just several other options and things that you need for that transmission. Not saying it's a bad transmission. It's actually one of the better transmissions that Ford has built. Of course, now in the bigger vehicles and the newer ones, they have the 10R. But the 6R80R, my first thought around it was, if I decided to go with a Coyote swap, it was going to be an easy bolt up. No big issues with that. I just decided actually to go with the 4R70W again because it's a reliable transmission. Now, of course, like I've told most of you guys, next summer the plan for the Dark Horse is to build a new motor for it. I want to be somewhere between 900 and 1,000 horsepower. So, of course, the stock transmission is not going to support that. You either going to blow it up, chew through some gears, whatever. I wanted to make sure when I pulled that transmission out, I was able to bolt up some big power to it and it was going to hold it. Now, of course, when I did this transmission and had it built, there's several things that I went with as far as upgraded parts. One of the biggest things, again, I went from an auto valve body to a manual valve body. So, of course, I'm shifting gears now. It's going to be more reliable, hopefully more accurate at the track. I still need to get to the track, and test it out. Going with that manual valve body, I did do a B&M gated shifter. It does have a trans brake. My transmission from Darren Birch also, I have, everything is wired up on switches. Of course, I have a switch for my overdrive as well as my lockup. I've been driving the car and testing it now for probably about 2 months now with this new transmission. Everything seems to be doing good. I do enjoy shifting the car going down the road. I can shift it, from first, second to drive, at my leisure. I do miss a little bit of the auto action, but I'm getting used to this. And like I say, it is a little bit of a learning curve if you're used to driving a full automatic all the time. Just a couple of things, that we put in my transmission to help hold, a lot more horsepower. Of course, we went with all hardened gears. The stock gears just was not going to support, 900 to 1,000 horsepower. Transmission, the pump, it has an upgraded pump in it. Of course, we upgraded the clutch plates and went from 6 to 8 on those setups. Couple other things, like I said, the bell housing is still the same. Tail shaft is still the same length. As far as the pan, this is where I had another question of, as I was talking to Darren, he said, his preference is just stick with the stock depth pan. I did think about putting a deep pan on it. Of course, yes, that would have held more transmission fluid, probably kept things a little bit cooler, but they are big and bulky, and my car already sits low to the ground. And if you looked up under it, that, in my situation, that transmission pan would sit a lot lower than what my tailpipes are underneath the car, which is gonna, if I'm pulling out of like my driveway, which is kind of steep, that's gonna drag, and that was gonna be a problem. One of the things I did do with my stock pan though, I did go with a drain plug in it. This way now, unless I'm changing the filter, I don't have to drop the pan to drain the transmission fluid. So that was a plus. As far as torque converter, this time around, I did go with a Circle D billet torque converter. It's 3,600 to 3,800 stall. So that's going to help me out with my power too. You may not like that a lot just for street driving. You know, it kind of feels like the car is going but not going. You guys know what I'm talking about, anybody that has a high stall aftermarket converter. But it really doesn't bother me on the street, and I know it's going to be a benefit on the track. Really outside of that, I mean, the transmission I think is going to be solid. You know, again, there was no issues with the 6R, 80R. That would have been a good transmission, but the 4R, 70Ws, they're good transmissions. That's actually what's in the F-150 now. Of course, it has some different options on it, like a different tail shaft and stuff, but it's basically the same transmission. Ford has had that transmission for quite some time. It's in the Mustangs, it's in the Crown Vics, several other cars, so it's been around the block. It's a proven and true transmission, so I don't think you'll have any issues with it. Depending on what transmission builder you go with, whether that's going to be for a rebuild for your car or just a brand new transmission in general, make sure you do your research and make sure you know what you want to do. Always have a plan in place. If I was going to remain with the stock, you know, horsepower that I'm making now, which the Dark Horse GT is at 400, I probably would have went back with everything stock and it would have been fine just like it is now. But of course, you know, gearing up to make big power, I wanted to make sure that all the available options and the best upgrades I wanted to have in this transmission, and that's exactly what I did. So, you know, when it comes time to rebuild this motor this next season, I shouldn't have any issues. I tell people all the time, you know, building a race car, a street car, whatever you want to call it, you can make big power. And yes, you will spend money making that big power. Where the price comes in is everything that it takes to support that big power. You just do not go out and drop 1,000 horsepower in a stock car and expect your transmission to last, your axles not to blow out or break, drive shafts, suspension. There's a lot that goes into a car. So again, yes, a lot of our money is spent making horsepower on our motor, but a lot of that cost is coming from just the upgrades to help support that power. And like I say, as you guys, if you don't already have your cars, whether you're in the process of building your street car, that's something to keep in mind. And you'll see that as you go down the line, you know, spending money, looking at your receipts, doing one thing to the car, realizing you're going to have to add something else to support that. You know, one of the instances I look at, like my supercharger, when I decided to go with a Vortec V3 on the Dark Horse, it wasn't just about putting that supercharger on there and calling it a day. Of course, I had to make sure my fuel systems could support it. So, of course, with that came, you know, upgraded fuel pump. I actually added a booster pump to it also, as well as larger injectors. So again, you know, there's just several things. You can have a plan to do one thing, but of course you're going to need to spend money in other areas to support that. Transmissions being one of your biggest key. I mean, that's the heart of these cars. You know, you want to make sure any power that you're laying down is transferred efficiently and, you know, I guess safely, you could say. You never want any transmission issues, whether that's slippage, transmission just not shifting right. I will say too, most of the time when you have a transmission built, your builder will ask you what type of shifting do you want, whether it's firm, smooth, hard shifting. I have firm shifting in my car, and like I say, for the couple of months that I've been driving and since I put this new transmission in, I'm actually loving it. Again, like I say, I've been tied up. I've not had a chance yet to get to the track with my brother. We do have a plan, hopefully, to go sometime soon, because I'm curious to see now with this manual valve body what my times will be at the track, as well as trying to get used to using this trans brake. I've been a foot guy person since I've had this car, and I've been out on the streets a couple of times just when there's no traffic, tested out the trans brake, and it is a learning curve, so I'm going to have to get used to that, but I'm looking forward to it, because when I do get used to it, you know, I should have a lot more consistent times at the track, so that's going to be a huge benefit. So guys, I just wanted to take this time, as I had it on my mind today, just to talk to you a little bit about different transmission choices for your Mustang. You know, it all goes according to plan on what your end goal is. Like I say, I decided to go with the 470W again. I had one built from the ground up by Darren Birch. I did go with a Circle D converter, and like I say, I am enjoying it. So you guys tell me in the comments below, you know, if you have a Mustang GT, what transmissions are you using? I'm curious to know. Guys, as always, I appreciate it. Hit that like and subscribe button. This is Big E coming to you from Big E's Car Garage. You guys stay tuned for some more content. I'm going to get out of here and get off this video channel and enjoy this beautiful chilly day. So you guys take care, and I'll see you next time. See you.